Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Avril, and if you are new to my channel, please do consider subscribing and don't forget to hit the bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Hi guys, thank you for joining. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you how to create this tin planter out of recycled tin. Want to know how it's done? Stay tuned. Here's a list of supplies you will need for this project. To start with this project, you will need old tin cans. Here I'm using two different sizes. I gave the cans a good clean and now it's ready for a coat of paint. Here I'm using my favorite chalk paint, Rust-Oleum, in the color linen white. I gave the cans 2 generous coats of paint and set it aside to dry. Meanwhile, I started on my next step. I used 2 tubs that I got in hand that fit the tins nice and snug. Afterwards, I took some petroleum jelly and applied it to the bottom of the tubs generously. Doing this step helps when it comes to taking off the concrete base once it's dry. Now the paint tins are dry and it's ready to be glazed. I decided to glaze the tins to give it a more rustic look. Here I'm using a Rust-Oleum glaze. I applied the glaze using an old rag on the creases of the tin and then immediately wiped it off using a damp rag until I got my desired look. I repeated this process on both of my tins. Afterwards, I took an 80 grit sandpaper and gave it a bit of a roughing up. This gave my tins a bit of an aged look. You could always skip this process if you're happy with just the glazed look. This is how the tins turned out after sanding it. I love this look. Now let's start on the concrete base. Here I'm mixing around 4 cups of cement mix with water until I get my desired consistency. This cement mix should be a bit of a runny consistency. Now the mix is ready and it's time to be poured halfway through into the tubs you have prepared earlier. Now that the tubs have been filled up, you should tap them down a couple of times to release any air bubbles. Afterwards, you should place the tins in the center of the concrete mix and gently press it down. Here I'm using a piece of wood and a spirit level to check whether the tins are evenly placed. The next step is to set it aside to dry overnight. The next day, it's dry and ready to be taken out. Look how easily it comes out because of the petroleum jelly we used before. The next step is to wipe off all the excess petroleum jelly. Here I'm using a damp rag to wipe them down. I decided to use some chicken wire and nautical rope to give this tin planter a farmhouse look. Here you see me wrapping around the pre-cut chicken wire onto the larger tin. Once it was all wrapped up, I then cut the excess chicken wire from the top bit. Then I went ahead and took my nautical rope apart and wrapped it around my tin. I repeated this process to the smaller one as well. This is how the smaller one looks, but I decided to add something to it. Here you see me using chicken wire on top of the smaller can. I used this technique because I wanted to use the smaller can as a water propagation planter. So I decided to use the bigger one as a planter. At this stage, you should fill up the tin with pebbles or rocks. I didn't have any at hand. But guys, make sure you do add some pebbles because this will help with drainage. Once it was planted, I went ahead and added some moss to make it look pretty. So this is how it looks guys, and I love this project because I use recyclable products. Okay guys, hope you got inspired and enjoyed watching this video. Please give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to support my channel. Until next time, happy crafting!